there, this is attorney Sarah Holmes of Holmes Business Law P.C. We are a business and general counsel law firm located in Philadelphia and the suburbs. Today we are going to give you the easy beginner's guide to buying a business. So let's say you want to buy a business. Maybe you're sick of the grind, you've been in corporate for too long, you want to go out on your own, pave your own path, forge your own destiny, you know, the American dream, right? So what are the steps you take? What is the easy beginner's guide to buying a business? Well, step number one would be figure out what kind of life you want to have. Which seems like an odd question, but in reality, this is really important. You really need to figure out what type of business you want to have and how will that serve the lifestyle that you want. There's a huge difference between buying a job for yourself and buying a business that can potentially run without you. Most people make the mistake, or maybe it's not a mistake because they really do want a job, of buying a business where they're just creating a huge job for themselves, meaning they buy a business and they personally have to work in the business full time. They're kind of do everything, soup to nuts, all the different actions in the business. And that's really, if that's not the type of lifestyle you want to have, that can be really problematic because then you have no way of getting away from this business. So number one is really figuring out what type of lifestyle you want to have and making sure that you are going to buy a business that serves that lifestyle. So once you manage to figure that out, then you really need to start looking for businesses, researching industries, and figuring out what would be a good fit for the way you want to live. The way to do that is you can look at business listings on something, for example, like a biz buy sell. Those listings should tell you whether the business is run by the owner, whether there are other employees. You'll get a sense of what type of hours and time commitment needs to be within the business. You'll get a sense of how much profit you can expect to derive from the business. You can get a really good sense of how long the business has been in operation, how many customers it has, and really overall do a lot of research to figure out, is this a potentially good business that I might want to buy? Once you've identified those, then you can reach out to business brokers. Maybe you know a business that's for sale, maybe you've worked in a business that the owner wants to sell, and really figure out, hey, what are some initial terms that you're asking for this business, and try to figure out what you can offer as a reasonable rate to purchase the business. The next step would be to submit a letter of intent. Once you've identified a business that you may want to buy, most people start the whole process with an LOI or letter of intent. This is a non-binding kind of letter, term sheet to the owner stating, hey, I saw your business for sale, I did a little bit of research, I'm interested in pursuing this further. Here are the terms on which I might be willing to buy this business. And in that letter of intent, you'd set out things like, what's the purchase price? When can we close? How much financing are you needing to get? What types of things are you expecting to purchase with the business? Is there any type of criteria you're expecting in terms of money kept in the business or employees that need to remain on? All those things can be spelled out in the letter of intent. Once you have the letter of intent in place, most people will go through a process called due diligence. So due diligence is something where you have a period of time, ideally 60 days if you're a buyer, to figure out everything you want to know about this business to make sure you're satisfied before you actually go forward and close the purchase. So in due diligence, if you don't have them already, you're going to start getting all the financial documents, 3 to 5 years, ideally 5 years of tax returns, financial statements, profit and loss statements, cash flow statements, asset lists, all those types of things. You're going to get information about employees. You're going to get information about any intellectual property that the business owns. You're going to have a good idea of what we say, where the bodies are buried, what could be wrong with this business, what is something that's not apparent to you on the surface. Because the last thing you want to do is buy a business, you get in as the owner, and you find a whole slew of things wrong in the business, problematic, that you had no idea, and now you're stuck owning a business that is going to just cause you nothing but problems. So due diligence is really important. Once you're satisfied with due diligence, then the next step is typically to have a purchase agreement drafted. Now that could be an asset purchase agreement where you're just buying the assets of the business. It could also be an equity purchase agreement where you're going to buy the stock or the equity ownership of the business. Either way, you should definitely consult with your legal team and accounting team to decide which type of purchase would be better for you. Once you have the purchase agreement drafted, generally the seller will take a look at it. There may be some back and forth negotiation at that point, and then you can set up a date for closing. As long as your financing is in order, all the terms of the closing are met, you will go to closing, hand over the money, and congratulations, you are the owner of a new business. So it sounds simple. In practice, maybe it's not quite so simple. There's always some complications that can come up. There's questions about whether you have a lease agreement, non-competes, things like that. But overall, this is really the easy beginner step to buying your own business. Of course, if you have questions about buying a business, you need help, feel free to reach out to our office. Our number is 215-482-0285. Thanks.